Good morning. It is 2:33 in the morning. Yes, it is very late, but with the new SPC outlook that has just come out for today, if Pivotal Weather has updated it, yes, it has. We now have this moderate risk of severe storms in basically Ruston and Monroe down to near Hattiesburg and down to south central Mississippi. Enhanced risk goes as far east as about Birmingham, as far south as Mobile, almost Biloxi and Gulfport, and then it comes up. Let's see here. And then it starts up here near Tulsa, goes down through Shreveport and Fort Smith. It doesn't come as far south as New Orleans. It does include the city of Tuscaloosa. It does include, I think, Columbus and Tupelo. But we have a very complex setup, as stated by the text here. A complex severe weather scenario is expected to unfold across the mid-south into the southeast late this morning, through the afternoon and into the overnight hours. Significant severe storms, including widespread damaging winds, and at least a few tornadoes are expected across portions of northeast Louisiana into Mississippi, especially overnight. A large hail is also expected to be a concern, mainly during the day, across parts of eastern Oklahoma into the Arkansas region. So, the setup for this seems to be guidance as far as what I'm hearing and what I said since Tuesday is the potential for a derecho type event. The Southeast has not seen a derecho in quite some time, a full-on impact derecho. Now, I don't expect this to be 80, 90, 100 miles per hour like what was seen on August 10th up in Iowa and Illinois, from basically Des Moines to Chicago. But I think it is very possible that we could see damaging winds 60 to 80 miles per hour sustained, up at most. Now, if we go back to modeling here, we'll look at the high-res NAM waiting on the 060 run. I don't think it's going to be out by the time or before this video is published. But I do want to take a look at the reflectivity in the updraft velocity. Now, there is one question that I got is from someone. It's like, well, it wasn't on comment, it was private, but the question was, why do I spend so much time talking about this? Why do I go so in depth? Why do I not have, very professional thumbnails or intros or whatever? I feel like it's more important that I go more in depth as I possibly can to give as much information out instead of having some kind of big intro. Like, yes, it's cool, it's all nice, but people want to get to as much information as quickly as possible, especially with an event like this. So I think it's important that I do the things the way I do them for a reason. I do less tacky, less things, less cool ideas for a reason, because it's just I also don't have a whole lot of time to really do that, so to really do professional intros and all that. So it is the way it is. I might get better at it eventually, but as long as I'm telling the story of the video as informative as possible, that's what matters to me. I think it's going to matter to a lot more people. So I don't really care about all that tacky stuff. I just want to get to the point. Anyway, here is the reflectivities. So for those who are not familiar, this is gives a estimate of what the radar might look like, or the placement or the area that storms may be. Also, you may notice the 1 hour max updraft helicity. UH is updraft helicity. It doesn't mean it just means updraft helicity. And what updraft helicity is kind of the measurement of supercell updrafts that can rotate. And when you get that, in fact, we'll see in this video, when you get that, it'll show up as a streak on the storm, but it's only for 1 hour on this one, which is fine. That's good enough. And then storms will probably by the late morning hours, we'll see with the upstream cape, with all the upstream energy. We'll see storms fire up, affect cities like Mobile, Pensacola, Destin, Panama City, maybe as far east as Apalachicola and Tallahassee, maybe as far west as Biloxi and Gulfport, maybe New Orleans as well. But again, the radar will not look exactly like this, but we'll see just some storms, maybe non-severe, probably really strong, most likely. And then here we have our thing set up here. Now here's the thing. This I guess we have pretty high confidence we can call it the derecho. And this area here is, in fact, you know what? I want to do something real quick. I want to pop up desktop capture here, because I want to actually show this with a pen here. So I went a little bit too far out, but I feel like I need to show it with a pen here. So we go into studio mode and just put in that'll be good enough. So if we see this, this will start to form up, and with derechos, you might see them already there. They'll intensify later on, but this thing's gonna spawn in. Yeah, we're gonna have a batch of storms that are gonna come off of this, but this thing's gonna form in, and as quickly as it forms, it's going to travel through Louisiana, Arkansas, southern Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, and the Florida Panhandle. Maybe reach as far as Central Florida. We don't know that yet. We'll know that when the full HRRR comes out. Kind of get a really good idea of this. But it looks like a majority of it's going to hold in the Gulf. Now, depending on the time with this, which we'll actually talk about this later, depending on time with this, we could see that push all that towards Central Florida. So we will see what happens there. In fact, I'll talk about the dynamics. I'll talk about, and I'll go really in depth for this stuff. I'll talk about streaming in the Gulf. So not live streaming, just air streams. Anyway, this is what I'm talking about with these streaks here. So this right, let me go ahead and get a thicker tip here. Let's see. This is what I'm talking about with this. Oh, it's way too big. My apologies. This is what I'm talking about right here. It's still way too thick. I thought I said it a little lower, didn't I? Anyway. But yeah, this is kind of what I'm talking about right here. You see that gray area? That is the updraft velocity. That's where we can see updraft, rotational updrafts within these supercells. Now, what's likely going to happen is if we go through the models here, but I'm going to go ahead and zoom in for this so you guys can see this a little bit better. Once we go into this, we'll have a few supercells that are likely across North Louisiana and Mississippi, and then derecho will come in and overtake those, and then we'll have a derecho with a few embedded supercells, which could be particularly strong. So we have this large area here of winds that could be anywhere from 60 to maybe 80 miles per hour. So if that verifies, strong damaging straight line winds are a possibility. Now, if we look at the this here, look at the moderate risk. We do have a moderate risk now. The tornado probabilities aren't that high. The main tornado risk on an area will be in North Louisiana, South Arkansas, and Central and South Mississippi. During the day, or in the first round, wind will be our biggest risk. Now, hail could also be a problem as well, but that's mainly going to happen in the pre-event or before the derecho. But wind will be our biggest issue with this one. We have a 45% probability of wind. Now, I do not expect a high risk with this. Reason why is because tornado, with really a high risk, typically with a high risk, it's pretty standard to have everything in place. Tornadoes are likely. Tornadoes are very likely. In fact, EF2 or above tornadoes, we don't have a significant risk for tornadoes, which is good. Because it looks to be a serial QLCS derecho type event. And there just is enough confidence that we could see a high risk. I think a high risk would be very, very unlikely. Of course, we can see this here, parts of the southeast. But I don't see any type of indication of any type of high risk or anything, so that's good. Now, we'll get this updated. Actually, it looks like this has been updated already. Okay, so this has been updated. But, so let's see. Day 3. Okay, yeah, this will be updated later. In fact, I'll probably make a video tomorrow, or actually do a stream tomorrow on this event. And I keep thinking we're going on Saturday. We're only going on Friday. And I'll talk about the event for Florida. But why do we have 2 pivotal weather tabs open? That's kind of weird. Anyway, now we've kind of looked at this, I do want to actually take a look at the threat for western Georgia, basically from Columbus down south. Columbus, Montgomery, Auburn, Opelika, Dauphin, Apalachicola, and Tallahassee, Gainesville, Ocala, Orlando, Sanford, Kissimmee, Lakeland, Tampa, those kind of areas. And Jacksonville, I don't know, it's kind of questionable, but we'll look at this. I'll go over to, I know I went a little too fast there, so we stopped right about here. Of course, we can see our system in there with a few embedded supercells within this area here. I will make a supercell plot after this video. I'll make a supercell thing to kind of show an idea of what supercell probabilities will be like. Right now, as of what I made 12 hours ago, I put a 25% significant risk in this area here. So it's a 25% significant risk, but because of the model change, changed very rapidly from 12Z to the 18Z run. So instead of being, in fact, I'm going to make this, in blue here. I'm just going to take off all the radar data just so you guys can see it's a little bit better. But as of the 215 outlook that I made, the 25 significant risk was in here. So this is the 25, I want to I guess I'll put SIG in there. 25% significant risk as of 215. I know it's a little hard to see, I don't care. And then now the thing I'm going to do is put a 30% significant risk in this area. Maybe I'll extend it up, possibly up to about here. So if that's the case, I could put a 30% significant risk. Now the reason why I'm not putting 40, 45, or 60 on this is because, again, this is a linear derecho event. If I wanted to put a strong damaging wind, I'd probably put, max out. But the thing is that it's not likely to be discrete. The best chance for discrete supercells will be anywhere from about, if we look at this, we can look at this right now. Of course we'll have storms here in this area, but the best chance will be, let's see, around 8 p.m. Friday. Wait. Huh. Yeah, 8 p.m. Friday. And then likely into 3 to 4 a.m. Or sorry, that's 0 to 12 to 1 a.m. Eastern, 11 to 12 Central. And then, of course, the Derecho will overtake that. And then now we can look at what may happen here for the southeast. So the main threat for strong damage straight line winds basically goes from Atlanta, Macon, Columbus, down towards Destin, Panama City. In fact, we may have a couple supercells in here. I'm seeing a little bit of updraft helicity in this area. Now, again, it's not guaranteed. Don't take it to the bank, but just get an idea for that. And that goes out to the Gulf Coast, maybe Mobile as well. The strong damage straight line wind event will be in here. In fact, I'm really curious to see for real what these pictures from this derecho will look like from a vantage point, like say here or here or here. In fact, I might ask a couple friends in this area that I know if they can grab some pictures of this before it comes in, because that would be impressive if that can happen. But now we'll be fighting the clock here, see if the sun will even be up by the time this comes through. Now, this thing is not an incredibly fast mover, nor is it a very slow mover. But one thing that I have noticed is that this thing kind of gets split apart pretty much after it gets to the I-75 corridor. After it gets to I-75, it just kind of collapses and all that. But I think also, at least in this area, as this thing just fans out, I think the Gulf will see very, very strong winds. I mean, very, very strong winds. And this thing is kind of just letting out its last breath. And that could mean that strong winds won't choke to be prominent. This is in the Gulf. May not be a concern except for marine, for far out fishing or for shipping boats. Now, there is a possibility, depending on the timing of this, because what's going to happen is if I take a look at the NAM 3K, this will give me an extra 24 hours. No, this will give me an extra 22 hours on here. Sorry, 12 hours rather. So this will give me an extra 12 hours of time on this. But the NAM actually kind of shows it to be a little bit weaker. It just kind of splits apart and all that. Now, there is a possibility that this could hold together. With the parameters that are here, I notice the parameters have kind of gone up considerably. Instead of there not being much support for storms or any type of derecho type support, that has definitely gone up, obviously, a lot from Tuesday. But, it just kind of splits apart here. Now, I'll have to watch this because Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern, I want to go to the NAM. I don't like using the NAM. It'll be kind of hard to see this stuff right now on the higher res products, but we just got to be patient here. The NAM, in fact, shows it mostly kind of holding together a little bit. The winds may not be as strong, but we have to see. And then we have another round coming in for us, coming in here, that could be either from another wave or potentially something that's coming off the the western stream that will be moving towards the east, because we have very right, we have 4,000 almost up to 5,000 cape in this area here. So in the Central Gulf, and that could be all pushed east with the arrival and the movement of this front, or this whatever it is, what kind of boundary it is. Of course, the Derecho will most likely make its own front, but of course we have to watch that. In fact, actually, here's something I would like to see here, is if we go back to, if we go back to the high resolution, we look at the simulated IR satellite. This is simulated, this is not a guarantee, but we can kind of maybe get an idea of how this could all look. And of course, we could see storms in that area there reaching up to almost negative 70 degrees Celsius. That's pretty high up there. It's not off the charts, but still, it's pretty significant. And then here is the Derecho, and we can see cloud tops reaching up to negative 70, and then that will move on south. Now here's the thing about the high-res rapid refresh, is that this model wants to keep it holding together, but the NAM wants it, is looking at it to just dissipate as it reaches about I-75 and I-4, or even before it reaches Interstate 4. Which means if you form a composite of this, it could mean that, guess what, this could be pushed east. Now, I do want to look at let's see, this is a little bit troubling. Let's see, I think it's the O4Z. Okay, so the O3Z has the 51-hour run. So if we look at the wrap here, it's gonna be a little bit hard to see. Please don't kill me for this. It's not a super high-res model, but it's still, it's okay. And then here it comes there. In fact, this one doesn't have it as thick. It just kind of has like a big old line. And then that moves south. In fact, the wrap wants to do exactly what the NAM does, except it does actually, except for this, it's sort of holds it together until it reaches I-4, and then it just goes out. But it does keep it on land, which could be problematic for the Orlando area. I do want to take a look at these ones as well. These ones, I guess, the high resolution DH Wharf, whatever they are. These ones are actually not bad. Now, we don't have soundings on them. We'll look at soundings just a moment here. I'll take a look at those just a second. But these have quite a bit of hard time loading, so. Yeah, in fact, this one kind of has a little bit, it's kind of a mix between Derecho and also just a QLCS line. But still, regardless, strong damaging straight line winds are just inevitable with this. It's going to be, it could be pretty bad. I don't say that to put panic into people, but it's something that people have to be aware of, something that people be ready for. Put your furniture inside, lock windows and doors. If you have any outdoor pets, bring them inside. But yeah, so you have draft Felicity in there. I do want to take a look at the NSSL here. But you have to be ready for this. And while we're not expecting major tornado problems with this, I don't expect many tornadoes. It's likely to see a few. In fact, I feel like that severe thunderstorms are going to be more of a big deal. I'd be more concerned about strong damaging straight line winds and hail than would be tornadoes. Of course, still keep an eye on tornadoes. Just because I say that doesn't mean that you should not be concerned about tornadoes at all. But yeah, still pretty much all of them show a serial type derecho. This one kind of has it falling apart. So we really just have to be ready for this. What I do want to see is on this one. It might not be very high res, just kind of get a little bit farther range on this, kind of see what this one has to say about it. Yeah, as far as if anything does occur, I'd be concerned anything about, I'd say from Ocala, Lakelands, and down here, basically I-75 and west, is be ready for this. Be ready for this event, because now again, this is still a couple days out. This is still 1 to 2 days out, and a lot can change in 1 to 2 days. We could see later in the day. It's 3 o'clock in the morning now. We could see by noon or 5 p.m. everything dramatically change. It could be looking very bad for Central Florida. Doesn't mean it will. But if it does, that's why we keep an eye on things. Or it could be completely nothing. The thing to remember with this is weather will do what it wants. And at the end of the day, no model will be perfect. Models are very good right now. They're very good at predicting stuff. But it's in the end, what it's going to do what it's going to do. And the fact that I am seeing hinting of any kind of, before that, why am I talking about Central Florida so much? Well, guess what? I'm in that area. So anyway, I lost what I was talking. My bad. Sorry, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, but still. The fact that there is hinting of severe weather problems here in Central Florida from the HRRR and also somewhat of the NAM is concerning. And it's possible, while we may not see it as bad as it may be in Mississippi and Alabama, in Louisiana and Arkansas, it is still something to watch. And if it is, we take our stuff indoors, any loose items, or preferably all items inside. Bring outdoor pets inside. Your cats, dogs, ducks. I'm not sure if you live on a farm what you would do about those, but you gotta let nature be nature sometimes. But just remember that this is not looking like a tornado outbreak. I know a lot of people in Mississippi and Alabama are worn out. They are fatigued from March 17th to 25th, and they just don't want, I know most of them don't want more severe weather. But thankfully, this is not looking like a major tornado event. This is more likely to be a strong damaging straight line wind. There is good and bad to that. The good news is that damage. Now, yes, damage from Derecho can be still very devastating. We learned that August 10th, 2020, with the Derecho in Iowa and Illinois. But will this be like that? Most likely not. Most likely not. And it doesn't affect a larger area of people. This thing could go from Nashville to Mobile. Who knows? I think it's likely that that could happen. So, yes, while the damage could be, or the wind field could be more widespread, the damage may not be as severe as what could happen from a strong, violent, long-track tornado in a more widespread area. So, with that said, in fact, the 060 is coming in, so you know what I'll do? I will stay on here until the 060 comes in and just give some more information. The one thing to be really keeping an eye on is where you are relative to the storms. Know your timing and know your position. Know the storms and how they could affect you in that area, because the storms are going to affect people differently in different areas. So say you live in Mobile. Alright, we look at Mobile. Alright, Mobile could get some early morning, late afternoon storms. Maybe not severe. It's in the question. Could get multiple rounds of that throughout the morning and afternoon. Here comes the Derecho. Obviously, Mobile is looking to take a huge hit by this. A very, very huge hit. Which will just be... I'm not saying it could take the worst, but it could be very rough. And this thing moves off to the east. So this thing could affect the I-85 corridor, the I-75 corridor. So I want to repeat some of the town names here. So at about, I'm talking about the main derecho itself. Supercell storms, we've gone through that. So right here we have basically go from Columbus, falling down I-5920, Meridian, Jackson, Hattiesburg. Well, Jackson's right over here, but it's already past Jackson, although Jackson will most likely be experiencing this. Just because you're not in the line right here. The heaviest rain and all that, and hail will be located in here. But all the winds, the wind field, will be located all in here. So the highest winds and all that will be located all in this area, in that blue area. So, and as we go on here, cities impacted will be likely Birmingham, Gadsden, Anniston, Tuscaloosa, down to Montgomery, and Troy. Auburn will be after this. Demopolis going down here in a course as well. Mobile and Baldwin counties down to Gulfport, Biloxi, New Orleans. As it goes through, the things passing through, Gadsden and Anniston are in this next. Auburn, Opelika, Dauphin will be in it next. And as you really get north of I-85, it seems to me as though it kind of becomes a little bit less organized. It becomes more messy. Strong damaging straight line winds and heavy rain, flash flooding, and large hail are still a strong possibility in this area. But where you're going to see the biggest problems will be with this. So then it heads out to the Gulf Coast. and also the position, timing, and intensity can change with this. That's why I'm not letting my guard down in Florida at all. I'm still kind of, I'm holding the flag down. I'm not ready to raise the red flag yet. I'd probably likely do that tonight at maybe 6 o'clock Friday night. When nothing moves east, Tallahassee. Let's go back just a little bit here. Columbus and Phoenix City. Down in Tallahassee and remember Damascus. In fact, let me go ahead and actually point out some towns here on here. So, basically the 185 corridor, Eufaula, Americus, Albany, Moultrie, what else? Bakeley, Mariana in Florida, Bainbridge as well. So you've got a lot of areas in here. In fact, I was reading that off Geo2 Analyst. So, basically from LaGrange on south, I could see this. New Orleans is kind of getting out of it still. Strong winds are likely. And then it moves down to the southeast, and I notice there's a little bit of a bend, a little bit weird of a bend. But at least in this area, I think it'll become more cellular, and then the winds will come with the storms itself. And of course, the Gulf will still be very, very rowdy. I think as far as this goes, ignoring the Gulf, it could be similar to Christmas Eve, what we saw here. So, last year, let's look at a 10-meter wind. Now, this is 10 meters off the ground. This is without surface friction or anything like that. So, you might want to take a little bit off. So, if it says 40 knots, you might want to take off 5 knots because surface friction will slow the wind down at the very surface. So, as far as wind goes, it's a bit hard to tell. We got 30 knots here. This is not really doing a very good job of that. So, in fact, really what I'm looking at here, I think that this Derecho's strongest point as it weakens out. And when Derechos do that, they can unleash everything they got. As they're falling apart, then they just exhaust everything. And that's when they become more widespread. The winds may not be as strong, but they are more widespread. So, those poor fish might want to be sheltered. And again, there's still a chance that this could move in northeast. I'm not saying it's a guarantee. We do have a possible... if this happens later, if this happens early day Sunday or morning Sunday and early afternoon Sunday, then we could see issues where the westerly stream will come in from the west and maybe carry us off to the east. So it's possible, not a guarantee. In fact, I think, in my opinion, it is unlikely. And what's kind of annoying me is that the SPC is not really picking too much up on this right now. Kind of taking a look at things here. The new outlook should be out here eventually, probably about 3:30. So I'll watch that as that comes in. So, but the main thing will be here. I wouldn't be surprised to see the slight risk go north. Well, this is the valid one now, but I wouldn't be surprised to see this thing move north, and maybe a enhanced risk could be placed in here. Now, for day 3, I think it's possible that we could see a marginal risk for Central Florida. I don't think South Florida is going to be that big of an issue, so South Floridians may not be impacted by this. But slight risk I probably agree with. Now, do I think to do it could be a slight risk for Central Florida? I cannot say on that note. But I will watch that. So we will keep an eye on this. One last thing, how far in is this? Yeah, so it's not very far in. But what I'll do is, I know this video is going on 40 minutes. I know it's long. What I will do is I will make a video tomorrow morning, after I get up, make a video about this, give the morning update, go more in depth of this, and all that. And we can see that all run, because I'm not going to sit here for 30 minutes. These things are not quick. These things take 30 to 45 minutes to load. Anyway, that's going to be all for this video. I know I went pretty in depth, and I'm sorry, I'm tired. But thank you all for watching. Make sure to subscribe and turn notifications so you can see our morning video on this event, on this potential, more likely Derecho that may be coming through. So thanks for watching. Stay safe if you're in this area. We'll have much more content on this. In fact, they just add 3 new hours. Interesting. But yeah. So yeah, I guess they do have it in. Alright. I'll catch you guys later. Have a good night whenever you're watching this, or morning. Whatever. See you guys later.